Okay, body temperature of students is taken each time a student goes through car line. The 5-number summary for the temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit of students on a particular day is, and so they've given us the min, Q1, median, Q3, and max. Would you expect the mean temperature of all students who have visited the nurse's office to be higher or lower than the median? Explain. So we're going to actually draw it out first because when you're just looking at it, you're not going to know without actually seeing a visual of it. So I'm going to start at 95 just because I'm all the way down to 96. So 95, 96, and I'm going all the way up to 102 basically because I'm going to go a little higher than the max. And then I'm going to draw my box and whisker plot.
Not the cat in the box.
So the min is at 96.6. Uh, 97.85. $98.25. Whoa, what is that? 98.6. And 101.8. So looking at that, what do you notice about
Just
this?
a tad bit skewed.
Which direction?
Right.
Okay, skewed right. So what do we know that, or like what does that mean then?
The mean higher than the mean.
Yep. So because it is skewed right, mean is greater than median. All right, now before we answer B, I'm just going to do a quick refresher about the fence rule for outliers, and then we'll actually go back and do B. So the fence rule for outliers says that Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR, remember that's our interquartile range, anything that is below that is considered an outlier, and then on the flip side, Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR, anything greater than that value is considered an outlier on the other end. Outlier is any point more than 1.5 IQR from either end of the box plot or of the box in the box plot. So from the Q1 or Q3. So basically just in words what's written in the formula there. So then if we go back to problem B there, does this set of data contain any outliers? So we're going to first find our IQR. Do y'all have this? Can I slide it back? Or are you still writing? Okay. So we can see our numbers here. So IQR is going to be, oh my gosh, Q3 minus Q1. So 98.6 minus 97.85, which is going to be 0.75. So then do Q1, so 97.85 minus 1.5 times 0.75. And just to save you from having to type it in, 96.72. And then on the flip side, 98.6 plus 1.5 times 0.75 is going to be 99.73. So what does that tell us?
There are outliers.
How many?
At least two.
Okay, good. At least two. Okay, we know there's one on the lower end and we know there's one on the upper end. So, yes, we know we have at least two outliers. So, possible that there's more because we could have some more, especially, I would say, a little bit more likely on the max end of it to have some in there. But not necessarily a guarantee. All right, this next problem is moose burgers and McTofu.
Yummy?
Question mark?
Literally.
I mean, maybe, maybe not.
Yummy for some people.
All right, so you're gonna need to do two separate lists for these. So you're gonna have one for moose burger, one for McTofu. Notice there are not the same amount of numbers in each one. That's completely fine.
No, actually, Sally gets 360.
Where do we have to put this?
In the list. So you'll do one in L1 and one in L2.
What I want to know is why Sally's getting paid like double everybody. What's she doing? To clean up my playlist.
I forgot how to do that.
So
Oh,
you go to
Hold
stat
up.
and then 4, and then you have to put in
you
the,
said stat, what?
and then 4, and then may I see your calculator?
Clear list, and then you go stat.
Hold on, let me like go around here and show you.
I was like, I
where
think
they
I'm going
put
crazy.
the
I was like, had 16
Okay, so
numbers
you
in this
press,
one
like,
list.
Second,
And I was
and
like,
then like
Crazy.
L1, like list 1.
Not supposed to be that way.
And then
Thank you.
First list is clear.
Thank you. Wait, okay. Are we doing these as two, like list one and then list two? Is that one?
yeah. So I have L1, L2 for me.
Why is everybody getting paid so differently? Like, what is
Different
And
positions?
Sally-
Yeah, but still. Yeah, what is
Well,
up
it's not
with that?
necessarily that they're getting paid differently. They could be working a different amount of hours.
True.
So you're telling me Sally's working all the hours? 'Cause,
Or she could be like the manager.
Sally's working overtime. I don't
She could be the manager or something.
She is.
Sally doesn't sleep.
Uda.
And she doesn't get sleep for only $360 a week. That's rough.
That is pretty rough.
I
Dang.
would say that's not grand.
Letitia.
All right. Once you do that, you need to find the 5-number summary for each one.
Alrighty.
So remember, that's stat, calc, one variable stats. And also for each thing, note the X bar, so the mean, and then also do the IQR, which is going to be the Q3 minus Q1.
X bar?
X bar means mean. X with a bar over top of it. Just because we're going to need it, and that way you don't have to go back and do it later.
And then what else did you say?
IQR, Q3 minus. So basically just find Q3 minus Q1 because we're going to need it for outliers potentially.
I can make tofu. IQR is Q3 minus Q1, right?
Yep.
Please solve.
Oh, dear.
Did you get 37 for your IQR from Moose Burgers?
Did I type in the wrong numbers? I may have typed in the wrong numbers.
And I got 21.
Yeah, me too.
I typed in the wrong number.
Okay.
I was looking at this. I was looking at the wrong column.
Just fine.
Don't
Just
worry.
fine. Bad thing.
Have you seen that?
There we go.
Emily, have you seen that video where the girl's like, "Don't worry, bad thing,"
That
and
lazy
she's singing it
girl?
like really bad?
Is it
Yes.
that
Yeah, that's that one girl.
Is it the one?
Yeah. She sings a lot of songs terribly. Who records it? Who lets
Who
that
is the
child
person
post
behind the
that?
camera?
Her probably
It's
her
so
mother.
bad.
She can't say anything.
What'd you say?
But she can't say anything to her. She feels bad.
Oh, why would you post? I think she knows she's bad and knows she can get views off of it. She's exploiting her child.
But she puts so
Or
much
maybe the
energy
dog
into
I
it.
is.
guess,
She's
I guess
bad.
that's smart.
To exploit your children, Ducky? I mean, Josh.
I mean,
I don't know why I didn't mean to go like
I
that.
mean, if you're getting money out of it, then
No! No exploiting your children!
Well, I mean, your child is getting you money.
Hollywood-
Would you be
family-
happy that you're
You
getting
know,
money?
Literally,
Hollywood probably
like
exploit
a
her
family
children.
just got arrested because they were like abusing their children and they put it on social media basically.
What?
Don't exploit your children. That's not
Yes,
good.
yeah.
Ooh, what family was it?
They're called like the 8 Passengers or something.
Oh, yeah.
That
You know
sounds
that-
like a big family.
It was a big family. Like it's like a Mormon family. Nothing against Mormons, so it was like a Mormon family.
It's like nothing against Mormons, but
This Mormon family was terrible. The one of the kids got their bed taken away for 7 months and like had just gotten it back, and he said it on a video, and the mom was like, "Oh, the viewers didn't know that." It was
That's
crazy. It's always those big YouTube families that exploit their children.
for real.
No, I saw that one about the I forgot which one it was.
Alright, good.
The Ruby lady.
Yes.
Yeah, she got arrested.
Oh my gosh, what'd she do?
She abused her children.
Yeah,
This
she'd
is what I'm
starve
talking
them.
about.
It was bad. She thought she was. She acted so nice, but it was like that the older daughter raising all those kids.
Okay. At first, I was confused how to draw these, but now
Makes
I
more
like
sense now.
now I like them.
Yeah.
Because I was just like,
I will say your calculator can do them for you. We'll do that in a second, but we're going to do it by hand first.
Yay.
Wow.
you're saying Yates to do it by hand or Yates
No, the
to calculate?
calculator.
Okay. I couldn't tell
Yeah,
what
you're
time
my
and
little
rule.
friend.
you
All right,
said.
so make tofu. Well, that's what I'm starting with. 'Cause I'm doing that one on the bottom.
Got it. Oh, I just put water in my pants. It's gonna look like I peed myself.
Okay, good.
Right on the spot.
don't draw anything past that.
Okay.
Do you know why I'm saying that?
Yes.
No.
Because it's like going all the way to the other
Because
end.
is it that?
Because odds are it's a
Outlier.
outlier. So I'm going to find what that is before I continue, which I think is probably on the next page. Maybe? Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll just figure out what the outlier is in a second.
Like,
We'll come back to that.
Sally now.
Just a brief pause. I'm going back to Mooseburger now.
I feel bad for her because she's working overtime and she might get like
get
$60.
mad, sister.
She's just a single mom.
What's too
That is really bad.
What do you mean? That was great.
Yeah. Yep, sure.
You're so mean to me, Josh.
I'm talking about
I'm
myself.
sorry.
Oh, not you,
I
Josh.
know, I'm just apologizing for it.
Thank you.
Literally, don't even.
Whoa, Josh. That's crazy.
Oopsies.
Oops.
Alright, I don't see somewhere
I'm
to
still really bad at drawing them.
Wait a minute.
I don't see somewhere to write the outlier, so that must not be part of this problem, but I'm just gonna do it right here because I don't want to have to like jump back and forth.
How'd that
Anyways.
happen?
Huh?
Mooseburger, I got like really skewed on the right.
But
And
it's
you
not.
drew
But
it
it's not.
disproportionately.
It's definitely not.
Did you graph it on later?
Well, you just put the numbers on over
May I see it, Josh?
So I'm pretty sure that McTofu is gonna have one that's an outlier on the upper side. The other one, it doesn't really make sense that it would have one on the lower side, so I'm not gonna check it. And the other one looks pretty okay. Since it didn't specifically ask for it, I'm not gonna check it. But I am on the other one because it looks like there's gonna be an outlier. So at 165 is going to be where the cutoff is for that. Okay, or where the fence is for that. So now you need to go back through your list and see what is the number that's inside of 165 in McTofu. The most, like, the closest to it.
146.
146. So that's where I'm going to draw my basically upper limit.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to go all the way to 360.
Right, because we're pretty sure it's an outlier. Or, well, actually, at this point, we now know it is an outlier. So we don't want to have that in there because that will skew our data. So our fence, we want to cap off at what the innermost thing that's not an outlier is. And so if there were other numbers up here that were bigger than 165, obviously I would be putting stars there, but I'm going to be putting a star out here at 360 to symbolize an outlier. So if you wanted to do this on your calculator to graph it, if you go to your stat plot and turn it on, you need the one that has like the multiple boxes. There's two that look like a box and whisker plot, but only one of them is actually one.
One line in the middle? Is the
Yeah.
one?
Okay, if you have something in your y equals, you're going to need to clear that also. I had something in mind.
What would do that? Okay.
And
Then what do you do?
then what button do we use to grab?
Zoom 9.
That's
Oh, zoom stack.
That's
Yeah, that's the downside to the calculator.
It doesn't.
I mean, you could press
Ugh.
trace and see what everything is.
Yeah, you can do it that way. You can also, I'm
Oh,
pretty
let me-
sure if
oh.
you turn on a second stat plot, I
Okay,
might be
so
about to
I'm
give you
back.
some false information.
That's cool, though.
Oh, yeah. You can put,
What? Wait, what is
The other one.
I put both on there. So I turned a second stat plot on.
Oh.
You're crazy.
Now, what you notice about this is that it did not remove the outlier. Okay? So you would need to go hand remove it from that list if you were going to graph it. Because we don't want to graph the outlier into it.
Oh.
So if you went and moved it,
Well, when I put the second one in, it
Uh.
condensed mine.
so I just deleted that one out, and now it looks a little better.
Yeah, when I put mine in, it condensed it to where it goes all the way out.
Why is it? What is it?
So not too crazy, right?
I was about to say mine just like kind of it does that.
Did yours go all the way out?
Yeah.
What?
So yeah, so it's probably just a different.
That's what it did to me.
Mine may have officially been all the way out, but I just removed the number that was the outlier, and that way it made it look closer to my paper. All right, so write a few sentences comparing the distribution. So something like for Moose Burger was mostly symmetric. With a salary of $134. McTofu. Okay, and that's average salary, obviously. McTofu was mostly symmetric. And you're probably like, no, it wasn't. If we remove the outlier. But an outlier of a salary of $360. And then I would say something about on average, looking at the median. Okay, because it has that outlier in there, that's why I'm going to look at the median. The salary was about $120. So you could have rerun the numbers, removing that 360, and then use mean, or you could just use median since we know there's an outlier. And then just as a general between both of them, both restaurants have approximately the same IQR. But the salaries at McTofu are generally lower than Moose Burger. the next one.
Yeah, which restaurant pays the higher average salary?
Now, we technically didn't answer that question.
We didn't?
Higher average salary. Talking
Yeah.
about the mean. Look at your mean values.
Oh, look at median. Oh my gosh.
Is it still Moose Burger?
Nope, it's McTofu. Okay. The higher average salary would imply the mean that we're talking about, and the mean
I
for
see.
McTofu was 142.30, and for Moose Burger was 134.40. So. So then we can follow that up with, why is the mean salary misleading?
The
There's
salary's
an
not paying
outlier.
$60 a week.
Yep. There is an outlier which raised the value of the mean. So McTofu has an outlier which greatly raised the value of the mean. All right. At which restaurant would you rather work? Give a sound statistical justification for your decision.
Neither.
Okay, why?
Because if I'm Sally, I'll work there.
Well, the average is higher, and it looks like there's a possibility of growth because
That's so true.
someone works 4 more hours than the other.
Okay. Anybody else have another opinion? You can all have your own opinion. I just am
Moose
curious.
Burger tends to be more consistent.
Okay. Josh?
My opinion is neither.
Oh my gosh.
I would not work
It's
at
not the
either of these
question.
places.
But like, if
If you
you're Sally,
were
then
forced
you'll be
to-
rich compared to the
I know.
other.
Well, I get the question.
Oh, I thought you didn't.
Which one would you rather work at?
I'm gonna give my sound statistical evidence once everyone's given their opinion.
Moose Burger,
Why?
more consistent with the pay.
I don't really have an opinion.
You have to have an opinion.
It's not the
I
question,
would work
John.
at either.
Fail the AP exam if you don't have an opinion.
Literally, that's
There's 2 options.
Just pick one.
Just pick one.
You're slowing us down.
Okay, well pick which one you think.
Just slowing us down.
Tofu,
Okay, why?
because I do think that, I think what Peyton pointed out was really good, that seems to be room for growth in the company.
Okay.
Or it could just be a manager.
So as long as you explain why, okay, either thing that you put would be fine. In my personal opinion, I would say Moose Burger because it has a higher starting salary, and aside from the outlier, it has a higher max salary. But as long as you justify your answer, it does not matter which one you pick. All right. That's it for today.